Hi there. You've reached the third part of the training, which is calling it additional features here. Basically, everything else you need to know. There are 3 technical training videos. Be sure you watch the other 2, even if you plan on not, even if you don't plan on taking calls or chats. Then at least listen to the training and participate in that part of it, so you know what's going on in our little world. This training covers everything else that you need to know about the helpline, the different features that are working in there. So let's start right here. This is going to be our landing page, our homepage as of May 1st. We have a soft launch of the system, meaning that all of the pieces will be in place and everything will be working. We'll be working out any issues as they arise, and then the big public launch is June 1st. So as of May 1st, this is going to replace what we've got on our front page. What we've got on our front page is fine, but there's a lot of information on there, a lot of scrolling. We wanted to take all of our resources, put them in a small area, so that people know exactly what they have to choose from pretty much right away. There'll probably be an explanation paragraph or 2 right above here, but this is going to be what the main area that we're focusing on, the peer support right here. There are 2 sections, by the way. This is peer support, which is 1-to-1, doesn't cost any money. This is kind of the support that certainly this group of volunteers is used to providing. There's also another section down here, professional support, and that, of course, is our very own Secular Therapy Project. These 2 links link right out to the Secular Therapy Project site. So our focus is going to be up here. We put these resources in order of importance, in order of how we think people are looking for things. So first up, of course, is our hotline, 184. I doubt it. The same number that folks have always called. We know that there are times, though, that people might not be able to talk immediately, but they do want to talk to someone. Maybe they are driving in a car and hear a commercial and want to, kind of check us out or whatever. Maybe they want to call and they happen upon our page and it's either the middle of the night or maybe they're in the middle of their workday or whatever situation they might be in. They're not able to talk right at that moment. So we have a fallback position, and that is schedule a call right here. This button, let me read the text above it here. Would you rather schedule an appointment to talk to somebody at another time? Click below. Note, if you can, give us 24 hours lead time. We are a group of volunteers and we can never promise that we will, if you ask us to call you in 30 minutes, we might not be able to do that. So we wanted to kind of put that out there, that if you can, give us enough lead time so that we can certainly make sure that someone's there to return that call. So here is what happens when people hit that button. So here we are. When people schedule a call, we are asking for a name because we need to have someone to ask for when we return these calls. And by the way, any agent can return a call. We'll take a look at what that looks like a little bit later on, but any agent can return a call. So you can choose a nickname if if you want to write Peter Rabbit in there. Go ahead. We're going to go ahead and ask for Peter when we call. Phone number, we can only serve U.S. callers at this time. We are certainly looking at expanding that, but at this moment, it's technically simpler and wiser to go with U.S. callers at this time. We do ask international callers to use the chat function to chat in with us instead. But here is where you can leave a U.S.-based phone number. What's your time zone? They're the time zones, all available for you. And we're going to ask you for a date that you'd like us to call you back. We're going to ask for a time of day. And we're also going to ask, as a fail-safe, do you have an email where we can contact you in the event that our agents are busy at that time? So someone hits the schedule a call button and they schedule a call for 2 o'clock on Wednesday. It's, and for whatever reason, no one is available to call them back at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. We want to be able to have an email where we can contact folks and just say, hey, everybody's going to be busy at that time. So there are, and let me explain to you, there are a couple of levels of volunteer service in the Helpline volunteer team. That's the Slack team that we are using on the back end of the chats and of the calls. There are a couple of levels of service. One is strictly agent. We're not differentiating between call and chat agents, basically because the training is really the same. It's the format that's a little bit different. We differentiated it on the technical end because technically it's different, but the reflective listening part, the anonymity part, all of those other parts are exactly the same. So we are not differentiating between types of agents. So we have the agent level. Those are the folks that are going to be waiting for chats, waiting for phone calls, answering both of those. We also have a level of service called host. Hosts are the people that kind of walk the halls and make sure that that no one falls through the cracks, that chats are getting answered, that calls are getting answered, and certainly this, the return, schedule a call gets answered as well. So if somebody does need contacted by email, that is the host's job. I have an email in which they will all be able to access and email from. So you do not have to, of course, use your personal email to answer these things. The hosts are all going to have the same email that they'll be accessing. So just to make that clear as mud. So any agent can return a phone call. We do ask that if you are going to return a phone call, that you use the *67 function to mask your phone number. Because again, we want you to be able to be completely anonymous. If you're comfortable doing that, if you're comfortable using the *67, then you can use your phone to do that. If you're not super comfortable with that, then go ahead, let the hosts handle it, and or in this case also international volunteers will not be able to answer these phone calls either. But anybody that's in the U.S. and wants to do that, just use *67. It'll mask your phone number, and if not, we do have a fail-safe. So let me fill out this form for you. I'm gonna fill it in with my usual information, and let's see here, phone number. Okay, time zone, I'm going to go with Central. What's the date that I'd like a call back? Today's April 10th, so I'm going to say April 12th. Give me a couple of days on this. What time of day? I'm going to say 3 p.m. And do you have an email where we can contact you? Oh, absolutely. Fantastic. So now I'm going to hit schedule a call. This is what the user will see. Thanks. Representative of Recovering from Religion will call you at the requested time. Okay, fantastic. So that is what we're doing, because there are times that people fall through the cracks because it's just a tough time of day for them, or they're in a tough place to talk. We want everybody possible to be able to contact us. So you probably are already familiar with this section here. This is going to be our chat section. It talks about this bubble at the bottom and accessing us through there. We also have a collection of online resources that has been developed over time. I understand there's some resources through the iCarol. We've moved that. One of our very, very talented volunteers has moved that, and now we've exposed that all on our website. So the resources have been collected and categorized and is very easily navigatable now. So that's what you see when you click the resources button. Some people might just be looking for resources. If somebody hears a commercial on the radio or something and says, well, I want to look these people up, they might go here first. They might not want to talk to anyone first. So that is going to be there for people to access and navigate through. And then also, we wanted to put the find a group form as well. Would you like a face-to-face support group near you? We have some of those operating, and we want people to be able to find those. So this find a group, click that in a very, very short form. Folks fill this out. This goes directly to our volunteer manager, Susie Box, and she answers, these emails people back with resources, and of course, if they have a group near them, the information for the group. This has always been on our website, but we include it here because it's a pretty important factor. So that's kind of what's going on there. Now, let me show you what happens on the back end when someone hits this schedule a call. Okay, so here we are on the back end. This is our calls to return channel up here in the upper left-hand corner. And this is what shows up in Slack whenever anybody fills out that schedule a call button. This button right here. Okay, so let's go to Slack. And it'll come up with this heading, call to return. All the pertinent information, my friends. The phone number, the name, when to call back, what time zone they're in, and an alternate contact email. So this as with everything, if you're going to be answering this, if you're assigning that to yourself, if you know you have time at 3 p.m. Central Daylight Time on the 12th. So here's how we want you to show that you are taking the call to return. And we want you to do this in the same way that you indicate both on the calls and the chat that you're going to go ahead and return this call. And that is by highlighting the section that call is in, sliding over to the add reactions, the smiley face with the plus sign on top of it, and going for that big green check mark. Fantastic. So you're letting everybody know that you're going to go ahead and return that phone call. And that's what we need you to do so that and also, put it on your schedule. That's always good too. But that's how to show everybody else that you have taken that call to return. Also, again, where to find the link to make a report on a returned call. It's, again, up here in the heading, right by this calls to return. If you float your mouse over the description of the channel, you've got the Helpline report, and then, of course, you've always got the home page as well. So access that Helpline report. Do make a report on every returned call you make. And when returning a call, always with your phone is fine. Do the *67 to mask your phone number, and then always do fill out a report as well. That's the hold please. The Helpline report. You probably saw this, but just to refresh your memory, Helpline report is this form right here. For every call, for every chat, we need one of these. So very good. Also want to show you a couple of other things that are going on here. The volunteer training channel will contain volunteer training. And you probably already knew this, but this channel will contain all of our training videos, all 3 of the technical training videos. You see I've already got calls in here. All 3 of the technical training, the reflective training, the reflective listening training, rather, and also the training manuals will be in this channel. So if you need to refresh your memory, if you need to look back on something, volunteer training is where it's at, everybody. So go ahead and make that happen any old time. Let's see. We'll be updating these, the manuals and the videos as we go, obviously. And then I also want to show you the Helpline community. Now, this is the Helpline volunteer team. We are also, we at RfR are dreamers always. And we wanted to have a system where we could refer people to online group support. The reason being, it's not always feasible to start up an RfR, a live face-to-face RfR meeting in your town. And also sometimes people have, different places that they're coming from, that they want to maybe talk to somebody specific who's had the same kind of experience. Sometimes that can be helpful as well. So as you saw in the call training and the chat training, on the report, the Helpline report, the first question is, did you offer them a link to the support community, Slack, which of course it's in Slack. Did you offer them a link to that community? I want to show you that community right now and talk about the different ways that we are hoping to use this. On the Helpline community, the only thing that we lack at this moment is volunteers to make it happen. So also I want to show you this just to see if it piques your interest. If it does, please get a hold of one of us because we think that this is really going to be a benefit to a lot of people, an added layer of service that we have never been able to provide before. So without further ado, let's go to the Helpline community. Now, you will have noticed my colors changed. There is a way to get your team colors to change on Slack, just in case you get confused like I often do as to where you are. I switched colors on these just to make sure that I was always addressing the right one. If you want to know how to do that, ping me and I'll make you a quick video. So here we are, the Helpline community. This is something that people will be referred to only out of 2 places, a call or a chat with our current volunteers. You can't get in here any other way. If you are talking to or chatting with somebody who is geographically isolated, there's maybe not a meeting near them, or maybe that's not, their level of comfortability right now. Hey, it's a lot easier to lurk online, isn't it, than it is to go and meet people face to face. So maybe that's geographically not where they're at. Maybe that's emotionally, in their terms of their transition, not where they're at either. Or maybe they have, kind of a special interest. So you notice here in the side, I've got a couple of private channels here. One is the Christian and one is military. We have had some volunteers express interest in kind of being a channel leader, is what we're calling it. And that is, say someone calls in and they have very specifically a military background, and they're somewhere on the spectrum of disbelief. That person then, if you deem that they would be benefited by an online community like this, then when you fill out the Helpline report and you mark yes right here, that will feed into our spreadsheet, and then the hosts, channel leaders will be able to send out an invitation to this Slack team. When that happens, folks are put into the general channel here, we'll have a little welcome message. They'll all be invited to introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about themselves. If this person, and they have the opportunity to ignore that or answer and get to know some people. But when this happens, if they are a person who wants to kind of answer back and talk a little bit about their background, then the person that's leading this military room will be scanning these messages for people who have a military background. And then if that person sees that the new person has a military background or whatever, then they'll be invited to that private channel. So the private channels are invitation only. Part of people's jobs as the channel leaders is to scan these introductions and to give invitations to that private channel. The job as a channel leader, really, it's keeping the lights on and the coffee on. So it is to keep the conversation going, to facilitate. It is very much like the same kind of anonymity issues, things like that still apply. It's very similar to being a call agent or a chat agent in that fashion. It's very similar, but it's really just to facilitate and keep the conversation going. The people that are in the room, the people who are not the channel leader, then will kind of, develop relationships and things as that kind of goes on. So that's really our dream with this, is to be able to provide an additional way, particularly people who are isolated, who are not comfortable with going to a public place, and people who want to talk about really specific things. So that will be that will be what that is. That's still being worked out at this time. We're still kind of writing some of that. So if you are interested in providing support in a different way, then we do have that opportunity for you. If you want to help us develop it, that would be really awesome. Please do get a hold of a board member, and we will get you connected with the right folks to help bring this Helpline community into fruition. It's all we need, as I've said, are volunteers. We also have the opportunity to have, at some point, we do have the opportunity to have online meetings through our Zoom. If you've attended any of our trainings, you know that we use Zoom, which is a video communication platform for that. This is something that we could offer people as well. But again, how people get in is through the hotline, an invitation from a hotline call or a chat line. People are coming in through our volunteers. That is the qualification process. We do have the ability to boot anyone if they're, if a troll has somehow been let in, we do have the opportunity to boot them. And we are looking for volunteers to help us develop this. So that's really all that I have. Thank you again for listening. And if you have any questions, again, talk to a board member and we will get you sorted. Thank you so much.